Hi guys, this is George back here with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the best themed roller coasters in the UK. So here in the UK we're not really well known for themed roller coaster experiences, and when it comes to the theming, we've got a long way to go be able to compare to a lot of the theme parks in Europe. However, over recent years we have started to see a much bigger emphasis on theming when it comes to theme parks and roller coasters here in the UK. So today, let's take a look at some of the best themed roller coasters here in the UK. So we'll start off at Thorpe Park. Well, I've got 2 coasters from Thorpe Park to be mentioned in this list. I've got 10 coasters that I think are the 10 best themed in the UK from different parks, and so we'll discuss each individual park and the coasters. So Thorpe Park, I've decided to have the Swarm and also Soar the Ride. These 2 roller coasters are very well themed. They've got very dark themes. However, of course, Soar the Ride, a Gerstlauer Eurofighter, opened in 2009 as the world's first horror movie themed roller coaster, and then of course the Swarm opened in 2012 as the UK's first wing coaster. So yeah, these 2 rides, very well themed. So let's start off with Soar the Ride. So of course, you start off by going through the queue line, which goes through all this derelict kind of field, and you see all these different saw traps, of course based on all the different traps from the films. You then go on to the indoor section of the queue line, where you've got all the different announcements that play, all the different sound effects. You've got different theming in there, like just before you go up the stairs you've got one of the Billy puppet dolls just at the bottom of the stairs, and then you go up into the station, which has got more saw traps around. You've got the audio in there, all the flashing lights, the windows at the other side of the station. It is really well themed, and what is the best themed part of the coaster in my opinion is the indoor section of the coaster. So of course you start off by dispatching straight into an indoor section where you go around a corner, you see some of the saw traps there. You've got one of the Billy puppet dolls that comes round on a bike. If you get the second train that dispatches, then you see that and you get a really good view of that. You of course then go down that first drop, which is a really good near miss element with some spikes that come up, so it looks like you're going to hit the spikes, but then you drop down underneath them, which I really like. You've got some other different swinging kind of tools that look like you're going to go through it and it's going to like chop you up or something. Really good theming with that and near miss elements. And then of course you go into the other section with the brakes, and you've got all these air cannons that fire out, and then you go through the first inversion, which takes you over like a fake dead body which is lying on the floor, and it sprays water up at you as you're upside down and going through it, and you then go into the outdoor section, which doesn't have as much theming. However, I do really like the spinning blades after the first drop that you go right underneath. That's really good. And then of course towards the later half of the ride as well, then you've also got some more theming around there. In terms of the Swarm, of course, this is themed to an alien attack. You've got these 8 otherworldly creatures that have come down to Earth and they're invading Swarm Island. So of course you've got all the different vehicles around there that have all been smashed up. It's like you've got a plane wing that the train dives underneath after the first drop. You've got the rest of the plane, which is towards the zero-G roll. You of course go through the billboard, which acts as a fantastic head chopper. And then of course the station as well, which is like this big abandoned, destroyed church, which the idea with this is you should stay at home, avoid all these flying alien creatures that are invading, and if you're outside then get to the church and try and take cover. The church is a really cool theming element on this ride. You've got the ambulance around there as well, the helicopter over the water, the fire truck that occasionally shoots out fire. It hasn't done for the last few years, however apparently that is supposed to be getting fixed, so hopefully that will be fixed for this year. But Thorpe Park definitely has 2 very well themed roller coasters. Let's go over to Alton Towers now to talk about 2 roller coasters there that are particularly well themed. The first one of these being Wicker Man, a GCI wooden coaster that opened in 2018. And this roller coaster has a very in-depth story. Of course, it's all about the story of the Bjornen and going to worship the Wicker Man in the woods, and it's like you need to give him a gift, and it's about a sacrifice. It's like you sacrifice yourself to the Wicker Man. So yeah, another dark story, So yeah, get used to that. We're in the UK here. We've got a lot of dark themed roller coasters. But the thing that makes this ride special is the massive Wicker Man structure that the train passes through 3 times. That occasionally shoots out fire. It was working last year for most of the season. However, before 2024, it hadn't been working for a while. But it does look absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best kind of photo opportunities you'll get for a coaster in the UK. It looks amazing. I love when it shoots out fire. Of course, you can go right up close to it when you're in the queue line as well. You pass under it 3 times when you're on the ride. The station is really good. You've got the pre-show as well on there, which dives into the story a bit more. You go into this like wicker kind of room where the ceiling's all made out of wicker, and you watch the pre-show, and then go into the station. There's all the lighting that looks like fire, and you're inside this like burning building that looks really, really cool. The sound effects are great on there as well, and all the story driven kind of announcements that they play. I really like this roller coaster. It's my favourite coaster at Alton Towers, and the theming is fantastic on it, and it really makes the experience so much better. Another very well themed roller coaster at Alton Towers is Nemesis Reborn. So of course, this B&M invert originally opened in 1994. However, for 2024 it was refurbished. It got a complete or a near complete retrack. There was a lot more enhancements to the story. The park went much more in depth with the story and told the story a lot more of the Phalanx and the Nemesis creature, and all the stuff behind the Phalanx and what they were doing with Nemesis and stuff. And then of course all the new theming that they added as well. In particular, my favourite thing that they added, my favourite part of the whole Nemesis Reborn project is the new station with the eye, because that looks amazing. Of course, you've got the screen now that looks like an eye that follows the train around the layout. So the train will be going around the layout, and the eye is following the train as it goes round, and then of course it goes over the station in the zero-G roll, and you can see it gets very angry, and all the claws move that are surrounding the eye, and the eye starts to shake a little bit as if the Nemesis creature's getting really angry. You've got a different helicopter around there as well, some smoke effects. There's loads to see around there, loads of different announcements. Of course, you go into the queue line and go past the shipping containers, other pieces of track, and then of course all the different shipping containers and boxes, and you see all the different experiments that the Phalanx are doing on the Nemesis creature. It's a really in-depth storyline that really added some more life to the roller coaster for 2024. It's a brilliant storyline. It's got some great theming, some great near-miss elements, and all of the new theming definitely enhanced the new experience when it came back in 2024. So now let's go to Chessington World of Adventures and talk about Mandrill Mayhem, a B&M wing coaster that opened in 2023. And this is the signature attraction of the park's World of Jumanji themed area. And this themed area as a whole is absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favourite themed areas in the UK. It's definitely my favourite themed area in a Merlin theme park in the UK. It is absolutely fantastic. So many different things to see around there, and of course Mandrill Mayhem, the theming around there is fantastic. So you start off by going into the queue line, where you can get some amazing views of the Jaguar Shrine, which is the main theming piece for this ride, that the ride spirals around, spirals upwards around the Jaguar Shrine, and then it rolls back to do the course all the way again backwards. You've got some different spikes on there as well that act as really good leg chopper elements. It's like there's different spikes coming out of the ground that, especially on the front row, it looks like you're going to hit them as you fly over them. As well as that, you've got some nice interactions with the well-themed entrance portal as well. As you walk into the area and you can look above you and see the inversion on here. You go into the queue line, there's loads of different lockers around, different posters that talk about different animals that are inside the game. You go right past the bazaar section as well, where you've got all the themed stands in there to fit with the first movie where it was a video game, the Welcome to the Jungle one, where they went into the bazaar and there was all the there was all the stalls around, and they needed to find the mamba. They needed to tame that snake, the mamba, so they could defang it, and they needed to tame it to get the piece of the map. And there's all sorts of stuff to look at in the queue line, like all different plaques that talk about all the different characters, and it shows their strengths and weaknesses, like they see when they arrive into the game. It's really well thought out, really well done. It's a great ride, great colour scheme, and the train is one of the best trains I've ever seen for a roller coaster as well. Of course, it looks like you're sitting in the arms of a mandrill that looks absolutely fantastic. So in 2024, Drayton Manor opened Gold Rush, their brand new Intamin lift and launch roller coaster, and this is another ride that has taken the theming up to another level for this park. The last couple of years, Drayton Manor have been thinking much more about the theming when it comes to their new areas. However, Gold Rush has been their first roller coaster that they've built since 2011, so this has been a good opportunity for them to build a brand new ground up coaster and to do a completely new theme around there. And what they've done with the area of Frontier Falls, which this coaster is part of, is fantastic. You've got all the buildings there that were already there, but they've been repainted to fit in with the area. You've got the saloon there, the jail, and then of course you go up to the top half of the area where you've got the blasting barrels area, and then of course you've got Gold Rush as well, which has a fantastic entrance sign. You've got the big kind of mining frame that goes up there with the mine cart over the track on top of it. You of course then go into the tunnel in the queue line, and once you're in the queue line you see loads of different boxes. There's even a gravestone for Apocalypse there, which is the old drop tower that used to stand there that I really like. And then of course around the ride you've got some different water effects, lots of different barrels of gold. You go into the dynamite shed as part of the ride, where there's all different crates of dynamite and TNT that are all around there that are about to get set off, and you go in there and then you launch out again, whether you go forwards or backwards out of there, but it's a slightly different experience each time. The station looks really good as well. You've got all the gold boxes in there, all the dynamite crates in there as well. It's absolutely fantastic. What they did with the theming of this area is brilliant. Lots of different buildings around there that the coaster interacts with. There's the gold shed just next to the building, the lift hill. It was done to a really high standard. I really like the theming around Gold Rush, and hopefully we'll continue to see Drayton Manor stepping up the level of theming like they have with this one. So the final theme park I'm going to talk about in this video is Paultons Park. And let's be real here, when it comes to theming at UK theme parks, it doesn't get better than Paultons Park. 4 roller coasters I'm going to be talking about on this list. So let's start off with Lost Kingdom. So this area opened in 2016, and there are 2 Vekoma roller coasters in this area. Both are very well themed. You of course got Velociraptor, which is the Vekoma Junior Boomerang. You've got loads of different planting around that coaster, some different dinosaur animatronics on there as well that look really good. And then of course you've also got Flight of the Pterosaur, the Vekoma family suspended coaster, where you've got the station that's made out of rocks that look really cool. You've got the tunnel that you go through as well, like the big rock tunnel that you go through, all the planting around the lift hill, and the helix at the end as well with the animatronic in the middle of it. And I really like with this ride as well how it flies over all the pathways around the area. It's really well done, really well thought out, and how you can walk right underneath the coaster with all the rocks either side of you and the planting. It was done to a very well high standard, this area, and this was kind of the start of Paultons Park's kind of new era, where they were going to focus a lot more on theming. So of course they built Peppa Pig World in 2011, and then they got all the money from that, and they're like, right, let's start now thinking about how we can theme up the rest of the park and turn it to a really high standard. And that's exactly what they did with Lost Kingdom in 2016. And then they continued to raise the bar even higher when they opened Tornado Springs in 2021. So let's talk about Storm Chaser now. What is, in my opinion, the best themed roller coaster at this park. I love all the rock work around this area. You of course go into the indoor queue line where there's loads to see in there. You've got all the flickering lights, you've got all the different farming equipment in there as well, all the different hay bales and barrels in there. You of course then go up into the station, which has got all the different tools on the walls and all the barrels around. And then of course you've got the rock work around the layout as well, in between the helix. Lots of rock work around there that looks absolutely brilliant. Lots of different buildings around the coaster as well. It looks absolutely fantastic. And then in 2022 the park made an expansion to Tornado Springs with another roller coaster called Farmyard Flyer, another very well themed roller coaster that looks absolutely fantastic. So of course you go into the queue line, which takes you right behind Cyclonator. You've got lots of different theming and posters in the queue line. You then go into the station, which is like a big barn shed. That's absolutely fantastic. It's like you've got a big kennel at the front of it as well. You've got the doghouse at the front, which looks really good, all the different tools on the shed, and the train looks absolutely brilliant as well. It looks like a plane that you're sitting on. That is absolutely fantastic. And what I love about this as well is the propeller at the front actually does spin as well. You of course then go up the lift hill, and you've got the watchtower in the middle of the helix, lots of different planting and barrels and farming equipment. It might only be a small junior coaster, but they made sure that the theming was done to a very high standard with this coaster, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future. So there we go, that is now the end of this video here. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at George Kelly and follow me on Twitter at George Kelly. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe everyone, and I will see you all later. Bye.